This is Charles G. Webster's daughter. And I just like for the mail. I already wrote the NBC, I think it was 13 News down in Texas about it. But they never asked my permission. I lay there bedridden over a car wreck I didn't create and couldn't walk at the time, and nobody calls me to let me know that they have stolen my property, my land down south, the one that they had murdered my dad on, Charles Glenn Webster. And it was my property. It was given to me by my dad, not only my dad, but Peggy Baker of Texas as well surrendered all of it to me. And so when I was finally able to go down there, I did, and it was on my other phone. It did, unfortunately, get stolen. But they were digging up graves. My dad's grave is even gone. The land itself, and my modular house was sitting down south of Birmingham in 2009. Yeah, I couldn't believe that one. They had so many landscapings done on it. It was unbelievable. And then they tried to say it was way before then that they did all this, years and years ago, and it wasn't. And they had no right. They did not assert me or on any of it. They did not approach me. Nobody called me or anything. They just took my property away from me. And lo and behold, I was nice enough to let my grandmother live on it, wasn't I? His mother, supposedly. I was nice enough to allow her to stay there on the property, even though it was all mine. It wasn't J.D. Webster's, and it's not Mary Lily's decision. She's not a blood of relative of mine. She needs to stay away from me and out of my life. Of course, they all ran. They all ran because they committed grand larceny, tune of $1.5 million. Kenneth Webster and Joyce Webster at the Burgers B&W stables. Yeah, it was like, I can't believe it. And there's rumor that Grandpa was shot, so I could just imagine, which one of them did him in. But, that is my property. And I'm his daughter. I'm the only one it is given to, all of it. And I don't know where they think these boys are my relatives when they're not. Clearly they're not, and it's just a shame that, they sit there and they rake you over the coals, they murder your dad, and they think, and they trash you, and they turn you into like they're so much better than you are, and they're not. By no means. Or Ann Spivey to boot, Ann Davis. She has a lot of galls to do that to somebody, doesn't she? She is this great space and NASA worker, isn't she? Well, she isn't. And she's been known to rake people's belongings, rake their insurance, right along with the rest of them. And that's exactly what they've done. And they leave you stuck with nothing. Nothing. Now that they've gotten your dad out of the way, they can have their way. And that reminds me of another situation that's going on where they've got this lady out of the way and they're doing away with the children. And it's really sad and it's sick to know that people can get away with crimes like that. Fraud, embezzlement, theft, grand larceny, let alone with murder. And that's exactly what it is. It's a homicide. It's an offset. It's ongoing investigation. So I'm just not sure, what here to do because they've got it to where I can't get no help. And it is really sad and it is sick to know that is happening. I mean, even with my children, they're doing that too. They go after the kids. They're pedophiles. They go after the kids, which reminds me of another situation of Joyce Berger Webster, who throws a little tiny girl inside of a predator's car, who she knows is a baby raper, and the little kid gets kidnapped. Pure and simple. And they think they're just great, and they're from Scandinavian. They're Scandinavian, from Scotland, aren't they? Are we? And the David residents I came from. Where do they get off thinking that I have no place at home? And whose bright decision was that? When I have totally done nothing wrong for them to be assertive in that manner. Aggressive. Other than they're hiding. And they will continuously hide. And it's not the other children's property that of JD's or Kenna's, which I'm so sure they're all just little bitches and bastard children. That, because what they do to me, they call me that too. But I really don't want to get into mudslinging because I didn't do that to begin with. Not even open public like they do. So, where is it that they could just get away with committing a crime and not be punished for it? Other people get involved with forgery and credit card fraud and all this and that, and they go to jail for it. And grave robbing, that and stealing that property, that's another grand larceny theft charge. Obviously, because I owned the plot. I grew up in that little neighborhood of the graveyard. I used to go down there and have lunch. There used to be a wrought iron fence around the oldest graves that were there. They were from the, 17th century. And it was just, it's really sad. Little tiny baby's grave. And the two people that were trying to dig it up, the big white van, the woman with the black hair and the shovel, and some little short guy looked like, kind of like almost a Snow White version and pants, a Snow of Hell version, and a little evil Damien dwarf, And I could not believe the way she was talking to the graves like that. And they robbed every single one of them. Took them off the property. They had no right. That was my grandfather was there. And they put up 3 graves that weren't even, there's nobody in there. Just like Ann Spivey did to my foster care parents, which were my grandparents. Those are the only ones my dad would trust me to. Because they would take care of me. They wouldn't allow people around me. Like strangers and pedophiles. Yeah. So, I just cannot believe the crime rate, and it's still ongoing. They think that if so much time is accumulated, they're not going to, you still get in trouble for it. You can't you can't make it to where she's going to die, make her go away, make her this, make her that, While they rake my dad's bank account, his insurance policies, my land, and the modular house set down south in Birmingham. I bypassed it on the way in. I can't believe. And nobody answers the phone. God, where is this God at? There is no, man, if I could plead mental, and I have this imaginary friend named God who tells me what I can do and get away with it, all the crimes they commit, and get a $2 million donut to benefit it. Wow, isn't that something? And when somebody disables you, you can't even get squat. Nothing.